It's time for Screen Junkies Movie Fights.
What in the world? Movie Fights is happening right now. Hashtag Movie Fights Live. Welcome to the party, everybody. Oh, and a very special welcome to Owl Nation. Hashtag Owl Nation. Hoot hoot. Percival's in the house. JT, no owl picture this week? All right, can't have everything you want in life. Thanks, buddy. All right, we got some awesome fighters in the house, ready to throw down, have some good times here. Making his formal Movie Fights debut, I saw you movie fight wonderfully at WonderCon recently. I didn't mean to say wonder twice, but it just worked out that way. Eric Goldman, welcome to the party.
Thank you.
Managing editor at Fandom and all-around swell guy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I did like a lightning round one 2 years ago, and I did the WonderCon one, but this is my first official movie fight.
Right on, brother. And it looks like you've been in the dojo getting ready
I've been trying.
Yeah. Pain does not exist in movie fights.
Absolutely not.
I want to welcome this gentleman back to the party. He is the country's premier scholar on all things Ava DuVernay.
Correct. Yeah.
And he's regular on Collider Live. Welcome back, Josh MACUGA.
Thank you, Hal. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. I spoke to Ava on my way in today, and she is psyched for my return to movie fights. Huge fan of all the things I've ever said about her and all the movies of hers that I've never seen.
That you've argued for.
Correct. Yes. Strike hard, no mercy.
Yes, looking forward to that kind of fun today. And she is off the couch and at the table. She's
out of your dreams and into your car.
you know her from all over Screen Junkies. She's one of the hosts of the Tights and Fights wrestling podcast. Danielle Radford. Danielle, what up?
Hello, hi, I'm back. I did it.
Nice.
I came from across the hall.
Now, last time you movie fought, you won and you like swept the whole thing.
That will not happen
shutout.
today, Hal. Will not happen today.
You've clearly never fought me before, because
almost as impressive as that, though. I don't know if you cursed once, whereas usually, like, it is like just carpet bombing F-bombs.
I know, it's the worst. But now I work here, so it's like I have to pay attention to what gets us demonetized and stuff. Because some of that monetizing gets me cool suspender outfits like this.
Oh, yeah.
I've got something in the game now.
Nice. All right. Well, you know what? Even without the cusses, we still love you right here. Thank you, Danielle. And keeping score and just keeping sense of all the nonsense. We got Dan, Murrell, and Billy Biz. Murrell Biz.
Murrell Biz.
We're Bill Dan Bridges over here.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Dan will be holding it down factually, and Billy, Mr. William Business, you will be our social media conduit there, talking to the people. You want to let them know how that's going to work?
Sure, Hal. I'd love to procrastinate on the work I'm supposed to be doing right now so I can hang out with you guys. You can hang out in the chat today, and then for voting, all you got to do after everyone gives their opening statement and they argue for a little bit, you can just turn the annotations on and off. You can vote. I will look at the YouTube poll in the case of a tie. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's in the description. Ryan's on the couch in the chat. He'll help you out, but it's going to be a fun one today.
Good times.
Send me all your Ava DuVernay facts so we can just school Josh the entire episode.
Yes, absolutely. Again, how this works, the first person to score 4 points will be our winner. After the first 3 rounds, we go to the speed round, and the top 2 players progress on to the speed round, and it's anybody's game from there. You can be down 3-zip and make a furious comeback. You want to do a little movie fighting, you guys?
I'm in.
Why not?
Let's do it.
JTE, package, please.
Die.
There's a package for Hal. There's a package for Hal at the front desk.
Paging Mr. Herman. PW Herman.
There's your credit card.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, thanks, Thor. Okay, let's go to question number 1. Sonic broke the internet this week, and he's getting a total redesign. Fans are up in arms. So we ask, what's the worst designed character from any movie? Worst designed character from any movie. Eric? We start with you.
I looked at a franchise that gave us so much in bad character design, and then I chose the one that stood out the most, which is Devastator from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. That's the second of the 5 terrible Michael Bay Transformers movies. And yeah, if you look at that, you go, what the hell am I looking at? And that's exactly, I think, my point about Devastator, is they took the idea of combining robots, that's such a popular thing in Transformers, and they took the terrible designs that are in the Michael Bay Transformers movies, and then they put them all together into an even worse design. So it's just mashing one thing after the other on top of it. And you can't tell what the hell you're looking at, so I think that's what makes it stand out, is it's nonsense on screen.
What the hell are we looking at? Thank you, Eric. Josh.
See that face I'm making? I'm with you, Eric. I don't know what the hell that was.
Right.
All right. Mine is Howard the Duck. Clearly the movie that ruined everybody who thought that George Lucas could do a follow-up to Star Wars and instead made the creepiest duck in the world. I'd like to say that Howard the Duck made a furious comeback in Avengers Endgame, as shown to me in like some tiny little screen grab where he had a machine gun. But this Howard the Duck is a lot like when they tried to make the spin-off of Seinfeld and they gave us Kramer, or the spin-off of Friends and gave us Joey. They just gave us a really weird version of a duck man human that was looking, at one point we saw duck boobs, which was all part of the Howard the Duck universe. And we were supposed to believe that a duck that could barely walk, that had seriously bad Osgood slaughters of the knee, and had really no business running towards any heroic effort, that somehow that was going to be the end-all, save-all of Aaliyah Thompson, who was really just trying to be a rock star. And for some reason, we even got a bestiality scene, which I don't really know what that was, other than we got a ducktail boner, and I am still scarred emotionally and spiritually for what we saw in Howard the Duck.
All right. Thank you, Josh. By the way, if you could tell me what Osgood Slaughters is, it's at Hal Rudnick. Thank you.
It's the growth spurt knee thing.
I don't know
people
things.
get.
Hashtag duck boobs, I believe.
Duck boobs. Hashtag
Right on.
duck boobs.
Danielle, what do you got?
Well, first I want to say, if you'd like to know more about Howard the Duck, you can check out the Honest trailer that we did a couple of weeks ago. But I will be fighting
Nice
today.
Good plug. That was my accidental plug for Screen Junkies. You're welcome,
Synergies.
guys. Collider.
Buy me more suspender dresses. All right. So mine I'm going with is it's a character from the 1990s film Spawn. I chose, not going to get this right, Malbogia, who is the villain and the devil. That is but one of many horrible character designs. This character is ugly for any movie. It's not just ugly for this movie. The character design is wildly inconsistent. In some scenes, it is practical. In some scenes, it looks like this, which is like a bad child's refrigerator drawing of the devil. If they'd only heard of what it was once while they were half asleep. It was, the production was rushed, so most of the design problems happened because they were only given a couple of weeks to do these, and not only is it a bad design because it obviously looks terrible, a part of being able to do good design is knowing what your limitations are and working within them, and the creators of Malbogia clearly did not, resulting in a mess of 3 different kinds, essentially 3 different models for one character.
Man, that's a real shit show going on with all these characters. Let's fight it out.
I would say, first of all, that I buried my lead, which is robot testicles. I mean, all of your characters are ugly, let's say. And yes, there were duck boobs, but did they have scrotum? No, that's what Devastator brought to the party.
Yeah, but everybody knows if you're going to do robot balls, those robot balls will come in, because then when he transforms into a tractor trailer, it'll be the balls hanging from the trailer.
But which came first, the tractor or the balls?
That's a good question.
Yes, as important as talking about robo testicles is, one thing I do have to say about Devastator is, you mentioned that it was ugly and it didn't make sense. Well, that is consistent in the design of the movie. So you can't really single this out as the worst design of that movie or the worst one here. That's what all of them look like. And you mentioned that it just looked like a bunch of mishmash of parts. For me, that's what makes it work. It is a robot that eats other robots and then uses their resources to become another robot. And so what it winds up becoming is this hulking, mutated, awful-looking, grotesque robot, because essentially it is what happens when you just stack robos on top of robos on top of robots. With Howard the Duck, duck boobs notwithstanding, we can't count those. Those weren't his.
Duck boobs.
Those weren't his. We can only count his, and we did not get to see his duck boobs. Woo woo.
Duck pecs.
With Howard the Duck, that design may not have necessarily worked for a Howard the Duck that we are used to, but it very much worked for the humor in this Howard the Duck. The thing with Malboja is that this is supposed to be the height of the movie, and the design takes you so out of it because it goes from looking, at some points, because of the realism and because they use practical, it goes from looking like an Xbox One thing to looking like Dreamcast. Sega, I love you, but it does.
Let me listen. The Devil, it does look like a really bad painting on a Venice boardwalk that like your creepy college roommate freshman year bought somewhere and then put on the wall to scare you when you got home. I agree with you on that one. Now, did that take away from the actual movie? No. Did it ruin the movie in Transformers? No. Did Howard the Duck, the actual duck, ruin the movie? Yes.
Howard the Duck came pre-ruined. That movie was ruined from the time the pen left the paper.
Even as that creepy feathered claymation automatronic puppet duck man, it not only could have...
There was someone in the suit.
There was someone in the suit. There was not... One of yours did not ruin a movie quite like Howard the Duck. In future, where we're like, oh, look at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the Howard the Duck we all should have been drinking a martini. Everybody still, as soon as they hear Howard the Duck, like, oh, God, it's going to be Howard the Duck. But I would say
at least you can tell it is Howard the Duck. And at least you can tell it is... Malboja, am I saying that name right? The Devil. Because I'd say that character, the real thing there is that the effects weren't up to par. Because I think if you look at the design, that looks like an early drawing of what the character could look like. They just couldn't actually bring it to life. Whereas Devastator, they had the best effects in the world. They had like ILM at their prime. It's just that their actual design, you couldn't make out what you were looking at. And in the classic, incarnation of Devastator, he is construction vehicles. You can tell that's a mixing truck and that's a forklift. Here, it's just all mashed together, so they're taking away the thing that makes that character stand out.
But the mashing is what makes him look so terrifying and horrifying, because when you see him and he's climbing up that pyramid, and F you for making me have to watch scenes from Transformers 2, by the way. When he's climbing up there, he looks not like a slick robot, but he looks like something new and terrifying that you hadn't seen before. I think it works great for the movie as it was.
Here's the thing is, all the Transformers are kind of weird. I think we can all be in agreement that humans can't beat the Transformer. We got lucky 5 straight times, and it's just for plot points, okay? The Devastator is just, he's another creepy looking robot. I can't tell the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. So they're all badly designed. I don't think that Balboja, Robert Balboja, it really did the movie a disservice. The thing I keep getting back to, the movie is called Howard the Duck, and the worst part of the movie was the duck.
I would argue that the worst part of the movie was all of the movie.
The plot?
Yeah, your argument is centered simply on how bad the duck looks and how bad the construction is. There are moments when the duck is walking, when the duck looks great. There's a moment at the end where the duck is playing guitar, and it's like, looks just like Michael J. Fox if he was a duck that wanted to also bang the woman that looked like his mom.
That is a real slight on J. Fox you just did there. You just turned Marty McFly into a duck, and I will not stand for that.
Again, the design was great. He looked really good. He had feathers that went like this.
You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself right now if you think that duck looked good.
I think that duck looked good. I think that duck is in the wrong movie.
That wouldn't pass at like the Disney sister theme park that exists somewhere in Omaha because they still have to pay the land grant for the next 20 years.
Into this argument, sir.
All right, let's reel it in, shift gears, and Eric will go to some final thoughts. Please privy us.
I would argue that, you were saying Howard the Duck's the title character, but Devastator is also a title character. He's one of the Transformers. And yes, all the Transformers designs are bad in those movies, but he is the king, the most symbolic one of that bad design, because he's the one that you can tell the least what's going on. He's top heavy. He doesn't even look like he could be able to walk if you looked at his full design, which is very hard to do because he looks so bad. Nothing about him works. Nothing about him is distinct. You can kind of see a mouth and that's it. So he is the greatest symbol of a series that failed its title characters, and he is one of those characters.
Thank you, Eric. Josh.
Yeah, I mean, Balboja and Devastator, terrible designs. We can all agree on that. But what we can agree on is that at one point a duck was brought in, and all the people in the room agreed that this is what the duck in Howard the Duck should look like. He really honestly looks like a very scared teenager that got a bad haircut. His mom took him to get a perm and has kind of a weird skin condition. And that's just basically what we're getting of a design of a man named Howard the Duck.
Thank you. Danielle?
I think Howard the Duck might not have been the right duck for this movie, but if you put that in a DuckTales movie or any other movies, a cartoon movie, that duck can tread water. With Devastator, yes, he doesn't look like he can walk upright, but in fact, there are moments when he's mostly crawling while he's trying to figure out his new weird mutant body. I think that how unsettling he is compared to the rest of the robots that very much look like robots that are somewhat recognizable is the point of it. With Malboja, the major problem is that the design is so terrible, it takes you out of the climax of the movie, and all you can think about is that looks terrible. And I think that it's one thing to have a horrible design that maybe doesn't look like anything, which again in Transformers, that's the entire movie, so it doesn't take you out of anything. That essentially ruined Spawn, and that's why I think it's the worst design.
Time. All right. Some good stuff. Some terribly designed characters. Let's see who Osgood slaughters the competition. Dan, take us to the fact zone.
Hal, according to the Mayo Clinic, Osgood-Schlatter disease can cause a painful bony bump on the shin bone just below the knee.
Yep.
It usually occurs in children and adolescents experiencing growth spurts during puberty.
Boom.
No word on if it afflicts ducks, humanoid or otherwise. Josh also
Dan Murrell,
mentioned-
I salute you.
Thank you, sir. Josh also mentioned the Disney Sister theme park in Omaha. There is a park called the Funplex Water and Rides Amusement Park in Omaha, Nebraska, but I can find no information that it is officially affiliated with Disney.
Does it have a duck mascot?
Not that I can see. Not that I can see.
I think the duck is a rival to Owl Nation, I guess.
Rival Duck Nation. Dan, thank you. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff going on here as far as your arguments. Josh, I feel like you hit that gong that is like the badness of Howard the Duck, but we kind of just hit the same note. We didn't get into specifics there, and I felt like I heard a little bit more from Eric and Danielle, so it came down to these two for me, and I'll tell you what, Danielle, I thought made the more interesting point to me, the fact that I don't recall it, but I'm disgusted by the fact that it was CGI and then practical and back again. But Eric also made some great arguments about just how you couldn't discern what you were looking at. And then I had to go back to the question, and it's the worst designed character. So just designing the look of the character, I feel just in the spirit of the question, by the hair on his chinny chin chin, I gotta go Eric. Dan.
It similarly came down between Eric and Danielle for me.
You guys just don't like me. I get it. That's all you need to say at the beginning of the fight, Dan. Sorry.
We adore you.
Thanks, man.
I feel that Danielle pulled it off for me because she mentioned the fact that there is an in-universe reason perhaps why Devastator looks that way. He is made up of a lot of different robots. You may not like the design, but there's at least a functionality or a reason behind it, whereas the point that she made particularly with Malboja or whatever is that part of design is knowing your ability, and that the character was not designed to be even within the ability of the film to pull it off. I thought that was a very good point. I thought that she fought well against the other two choices, and so my vote goes to Danielle.
All right, we have 1-1. Billy Biz, can you make some sense of this?
All right, the most up-to-date poll at 66%. It's Maybelline or Mel Bolognese.
Malboja.
66%,
before and after makeup.
19% for Howard the Duck, and 13% for the Devastator.
Wow. Danielle, in all of Movie Fights, you have won 5 questions in a row. It's a 5-question streak. Look at that.
Will not last, guys. Will not last.
Billy Biz, any other good answers in there?
Not a lot of love for the Super Mario Brother movies in this chat. Almost every design was crapped on at some point. Also, X-Men Origins, Deadpool, the Michael Bay Turtles, Jared Leto Joker, the horrifying CGI Scorpion Rock at the end of Mummy 2. That did not. There's some real nightmare fuel in these. Hal.
One that I really hated was Doctor Doom from Fanforstic, Josh Trank's Fanforstic. I thought that version of Doctor Doom was just, oh my God, you have such a beautifully designed character, and they go with this Cyber Doom. Okay.
What about Michael Chiklis in the Commish?
That's just him.
That's just him.
Can we get like can we get like an anti-Avengers of all the characters we just named?
Yes. Nightmare, Bizarro Avengers. All right, so Danielle is up 1-0. These gents looking to get on the board. Question number 2. All right, Detective Pikachu opens this weekend. Shout out to, we just put up something on the Detective Pikachu junket. Again, synergy. Thank you, Dan. Check out that video. We have some fun with Ryan Reynolds and the gang from Detective Pikachu. But we ask, what genre, other than noir and mystery, should be remade starring Pokemon characters? What genre should be remade with Pokemon characters? Question number 2. We're going to start with player number 2. Josh.
Ready Player 2. Okay,
Yes.
so I don't know if this is per se a genre, but I went with the Lego-verse. So, because I think we're in like a Lego genre, right? Like you're kind of, they've created their own genre, right? And what do we like more than anything in the world is a good crossover, a good amalgamation of two, like we've been talking about, synergy, am I right? And what's more adorable than Pikachu and a Charizard? How about these adorable little Lego people? They're always building each other, they like move their faces around, they all have fun voices of stars that are like having a good time. I mean, they even throw Batman out there. And we've already got this noir thing with Pikachu as Ryan Reynolds. Just throw all those people together. It'd be like one giant UCB improv show, but in a Lego Pikachu Pokemon verse. I mean, listen, what do kids love? They love toys. And what are Pokemon? Toys. And what are Legos? They're toys. All together, you have this giant toy movie. It's literally like you took your basement collection of toys and you made a genre movie of the Lego verse. What would the script look like? Does it matter? With all that cuteness, it's just friggin' adorable.
All right, Josh's movie's going to get by on cuteness. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Danielle Radford.
I think that story does matter, sir. So for me, I chose a genre that I think would work very well in the Pokemon universe or any universe. I think it's really hard to mess up. I picked a romantic comedy. And I even have a pitch for you. I don't know if you want it now or I should go ahead and save it for later.
You want to give us a taste?
I can give you a little taste of it. You've got a boy coming from Pallet Town.
That's adorable.
See, look, I'm already selling you on it. You've got a boy coming from his town. He wants to be the best like no one ever was, right? You've got a girl who's also coming from her town, and both of them are the best. And they don't know anything about each other other than by name, and they've never met before. And then all of a sudden they are on the train to go to the championship, and they start striking up a conversation without knowing who the other was, and that's where we start.
OMG, we've found love in a hopeless Pokemon place. Around the bend to Eric.
Well, I had to go to a classic genre, which is the Western, because who wouldn't want to see Sheriff Pikachu? Come on. It is Pokemon, it's Deadwood, you mash them all together, it's going to be the most amazing thing ever. You know, yes, you could have Ryan Reynolds come back. You could have Ryan Reynolds come back to voice him, but what if you switch it up? What if you had Jeff Bridges or Kurt Russell or Timothy Olyphant, if I'm mentioning Deadwood? There's a lot to do here. You know, this is a hard-drinking Pikachu. Maybe it's just water. You know? He's tough as nails, but he's a strong sense of justice, and he's going to clean up this town, which is filled with Pokemon, of course. I just think it lends itself immediately to so many story possibilities. You can take all the classic characters, reimagine them as Western archetypes. You know, Misty can be the rancher's daughter. You know, Ash can be a kid who needs some help from Sheriff Pikachu. It writes itself, really.
It does.
All right, 3 very different genres. Fight it out, y'all.
I don't want to see my Pokemon with alcohol problems. I think when you do that, a very important part of keeping a Pokemon movie is that it's got to be marketable for kids. You can't market. It's the same problem that Howard the Duck had, where it didn't know what movie it wanted to be.
It's very true.
Your movie sounds like it would be great for people who grew up with Pokemon and can do kind of a nod, wink, wink. But at the end, it's going to be a lot of mishmash where, you know, adults are not going to buy their kids the martini glassed Pokemon, like, you know. And how does he even order a martini? Pikachu,
I say he sticks to water. He just drinks it hard, man.
It's a Picatini. It's a mix between like a peach and a tiki thing. I don't know. What I'm saying is, listen, alcohol problems aside, I mean, they're the most funniest of all the ailments. I mean, have you seen Leaving Las Vegas? It's hysterical. Okay.
The opinions of Josh MACUGA are not.
It is a holiday classic in the MACUGA household, let me tell you. We get the Yule log burning and watch a little Leaving Las Vegas. It really warms the soul. Listen, I think we all know that the world needs more cute and they need more love. And what shows more love
than my movie?
Than the Pikachu are being hunted by somebody, right? The Pikachu, the Pokemon, they're getting those balls thrown at them. Some drunk girl at Comic-Con looking for them in the middle of the road and gets hit by a car, right? People are looking for all these Pokemon. I'm thinking about Pokemon Go. You know, I'm like trying to put it all together.
Oh, sure.
I'm writing you a little plot here. You get it. So the Pokemon they're getting chased down by the evil humans, I guess. And like, who hates humans more than the Pokemon? The Lego people. We saw Will Ferrell in the first Lego movie. He was putting the Kraken on all the things, gluing them all together. So you get the Legos. Now they are in the Lego world. The Pokemon are in there and they're getting protected by Batman and Wild Style and Chris Pratt and all of the people that are in the Lego movies. They're building fortresses real quick and they're creating this place where they can hide the Pokemon. And whilst they're hiding them, they realize they have more in common than you think. And then they form a plan to then take out the human world and make everybody live in harmony together. Now, I may have just plotted an apocalypse movie with Legos and Pokemon, but I think you know where I'm going with this one.
I think you have to think about it.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm there. So for mine, it's both of these sound great. I do think that people are clamoring for another. People are clamoring for another live-action Pokemon movie before they get to a Lego Pokemon movie. They want to see something that feels a little more like the Pokemon world that they grew up in, and that's why I think you can do a romantic comedy because you can still get.
Are you talking about like the Lady in the Water thing or Shape of Water, where she has sex with the fish man? You're saying like humans are having sex with Pokemon? Is this what's happening in the rom-com?
No,
you don't want them to drink, but you're fine with them having sex.
Yeah, that's weird. 100% what's going on in your
brain. The Pokemon?
I already sold it. You guys are both, you're being willfully ignorant of my opening statement, and you will not goad me into saying that I want Pokemon and people to bone.
You're saying Pokemon is a good wingman for a rom-com? I've never heard of anything more boring than like, let's just say it's between, I don't know, Matt Bomer and Scarlett Johansson, and they're in a rom-com together, okay? And Matt Bomer's best friend is Pikachu, and he's like, you need to be nicer to fall in love. You've waited your whole life. And that's the Pikachu? That's his moment?
Have you not seen some of the hottest movies of last year? The rom-com is making a comeback.
Well, think about the visual style of these movies. Detective Pikachu, one of the selling points is the noir style mixed with these adorable characters. The Lego one just leans into the cute that is already there with the Pokemon characters, so it doesn't give you anything that really makes it distinct.
You hate cute.
And the rom-com one, the rom-com visually don't stand out. The Western gives you something to bounce the Pokemon off of, not just the balls. It takes the whole idea of Pokemon and mixes it up with something that visually can really stand out. I think that is the appeal of Detective Pikachu, is seeing putting them into this.
I think like a Cowboys and Aliens vibe. Like, is that what we're going with?
Except a good movie.
See, but that's the thing. We already have these weird little alien guys in the Cowboys and Western. What do we need? Some hard partying. I mean, it sounds kind of awesome. Never mind.
Cowboy Squirtle. That is what you need.
Cowboy
You haven't lived until you've seen Cowboy Squirtle.
The appeal of them is how they look in live action, because we've already seen, from what I have seen, and unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to see the movie. Legos are not live action. Legos are animated, or at least what we are considered to be live action now, unless it's just you crashing Legos together. My understanding is that the thing that most audiences came away from with the Pokemon movie is they really, really, really loved being able to see their Pokemon in live action. That was what sold the movie. The movie, yes, people are excited to see Detective Pikachu, but more people were like, how are we going to make this work in this world? But as soon as they started showing those images of Pokemon being in live action, you see how cute Pikachu is, everything else. So when you add in a love element, you're just doing more of what people already wanted to see. People love romantic comedies. They love those. You already have a grown-in romantic comedy conflict when you have two trainers that are going up against each other. They don't know who both of them are. They wind up meeting together.
So it's like a rom-com and BattleBots?
It's like a rom-com in Hackers, where they recognize that they need the two of each other to make each other better, and then they wind up falling in love. So you have love and you have adorable things. It's someone for everyone. It's a 4-quadrant movie. You have the cuteness of the Pokemon, you have the romance for the people who want to see romance, you have the action of Pokemon battles, and you have whatever that 4th quadrant is.
And my movie
You were
gives
there.
you,
You had it.
my
You
movie
did.
gives you
You had
Pikachu in another adorable hat, and people love that detective hat. And won't they love him in that cowboy hat? I think they'll love him even more.
Are you going to have the Pokemon ride horses?
Of course, yes.
Man, I don't know.
It's
That
gonna
seems
match-
like a hat on a hat.
I mean,
not
you're gonna
lie.
have Pikachu and Mewtwo in a classic Western showdown, except then, of course, they're gonna use their powers, not guns. It's gonna give you everything you
What
want.
is the
and more.
Pokemon slogan? Catch 'em all. Is that correct?
Gotta catch 'em all.
You gotta catch 'em all. See, you missed out. It could have been you gotta catch 'em all, including their heart, and that could have been your
Josh,
tagline
go ahead
slogan.
and roll
Sorry,
this
let
into
me-
your final thoughts.
Here we go. Okay, listen. Did I confuse people with my description of what my movie would look like? Probably. But could they see it? And that is a big yes. We have never even, until this movie came out, we never even contemplated the fact that in a Legoverse, the Pokemon could exist and could exist in harmony. And what does this world need more than Avatar sequels? It's harmony. And we are getting that with a Pokemon Lego movie, the cuteness overload, and you're not even talking about the box office with how many times kids are going to beg their parents to go see Poke Lego. Lego Poke? Lego Poke.
No,
All right,
that's
poke your.
not the one.
Josh, quit poking my leg. Danielle.
Again, I think that when you're combining these genres and you're getting a chance to show, you've got something for the whole family. This could be a Christmas movie. You could do this around Valentine's Day. You could package this for any time around a 3-day weekend. This is going to be something that the teenage girls and the teenage boys who love both Pokemon and who are dipping their toes in the romance are going to want to see. This is going to be like a You Got Mail, except it's going to be a You Got Squirtle or whatever.
That sounds like a disease.
And here's how you get rid
Is
of
that better
it.
than Legatail? Legamon?
Legapoke.
Legapoke. Whoa.
Pokego.
You put those elements together and you have what could potentially be a huge sleeper hit. Plus, there's already going to be enough of a financial drain when you're doing the live action real stuff. So now you can just put it all on sound stages. And when you put it on sound stages, you can do it at Universal, you can do it at other places, and you can wind up saving some money there as well.
Polgo.
All right. Thank you,
Polego?
Danielle. Eric.
Not yet.
I think that Detective Pikachu is setting a great template for showing the Pokemon characters, the familiar characters, in a distinct visual style genre, and that is what the Western offers. When you look at a Western, you're looking at a Western right away, and then you put the Pokemon characters into it, and that's what gets the great counterpoint that I don't think your concepts do. It takes the Western, which is this, rough and tumble concept, puts the Pokemon in it, and then of course it gives you all these possibilities to have them act out the classic gunfight, the classic saloon brawl, but with Pokemon powers. I think there's so many possibilities there that people would really, really embrace, whereas the other ones, they just feel like they're leaning a little too much into the cuteness, which is great, but I think you need to take the cuteness and put it against something harsh, and thereupon gives you Sheriff Pikachu, which is why you should choose him.
All right. Who will we choose? Dan Murrell, take us to the fact zone.
Something that I always looked at, and I make this mistake a lot, even as a Lego enthusiast.
Legachu.
The plural of Lego, and this is from Lego
Lego?
themselves, is not Legos. They asked that the plural be referred to as Lego bricks or Lego toys.
Oh my.
This is a quote from Lego. Lego is singular and always followed by a noun, such as Lego bricks. So
Lego GTs.
Technically, by Lego's ranking, you should never say Legos in a plural form when referring to their products.
Lego of saying Legos.
Yes, exactly. Also, the Craggle was the stuff from the Lego movie.
Craggle.
That one I caught
Kraken-
because I just rewatched that movie.
The Kraken would also be cool, but it was the Craggle.
Because it was
that
crazy
Will
glue.
Ferrell was wielding. Yes.
Yes.
Craggle.
Kragl, the Craggle.
Dang it.
Nice. Nicely done, Dan. Dan, thoughts on this argument?
I changed my mind several times, but I ended up winding up siding with Eric. I thought that Josh's sounded a lot more just like a crossover to me, more than like embracing a new genre. And Danielle, I was actually on board with, but as the longer the argument went, it was a rom-com, but then it threw in Pokemon battles, and then there's a lot of focus on the budget and being in the studio. And I felt like Eric, particularly in his closing, was I like the fact that it's like you take the things about Pokemon, but you are merging it with a genre. You're not just crossing it over, but the idea of putting it against something that has a little bit of a harder edge, integrating Pokemon into that that sounded like the best and most coherent vision to me. So I went with Eric.
Thank you, Dan. Josh, you took me on a real delightful journey there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Quite an adventure. But yeah,
It's not the point of Pokemon. It's an adventure.
Yes, but I got a little overwhelmed and a little bit scared, and then I retreated into my shell.
Your Squirtle shell?
Yes.
Is that a Squirtle a turtle shell guy?
Yeah, right.
That makes
I
sense.
think so.
Squirtle rhymes with turtle. A lot of them, like
I think he spits.
onomatopoeia.
That's gross.
But came down to for me to again to Danielle and Eric, and at the end it. For much of the same reasoning that Dan stated, like it was a little bit more on like who the movie would appeal to, and this I was just like, oh, I'd like to see Pokemon in these iconic like Western touchstone scenes. So I also went Eric. Eric gets the point. Where was the poll at, Billy?
Let me update. Well, the internet agreed with you guys because 51% went with Western, 27% for romantic comedy, and that's weird. That math doesn't add up. 10% for Legoverse.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
10%, 51.
We're just talking after
That was
2% just got Thanos snapped out of the whole
Can I say I
thing.
take extra pride in this because I've never played a Pokemon game, never watched a Pokemon anything, so
No.
I was just going in cold
Well
here.
done.
Guys,
Googling names.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Josh MACUGA might be in the same boat as you. He's never seen anything
No idea.
Pokemon
No
related
idea.
in his life.
I knew Squirtle was a turtle. But that was it.
You guys got me on that one. Also, what genre meant. Because apparently,
What's a movie?
Lego is not a genre.
Although I was interested in your pitch for Danielle that the Pokemon be having sex with humans. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
Another
Guillermo
genre.
del Toro won an
Another
Oscar
genre,
for it.
guys.
So.
Yes.
Danielle, not a fan of that idea?
No,
Okay. Hey,
no.
different strokes. All right. It is one for Danielle, one for Eric. McCoog's looking to get on the board. Here we go. Question number 3. Godzilla, King of the Monsters director Mike Dougherty says he wants to make a Godzilla sequel set during prehistoric times. We ask, what current movie franchise should get a follow-up set in ancient or prehistoric times? Not like Cable Guy that was set in medieval times for part of it. What franchise should be set in ancient or prehistoric times? And let's start with Ms. Radford.
You want someone who's going to be able to pull off the stunts. You want someone who's going to be able to run and jump off of tall things. You want someone who's going to take on all of this by itself, which is why I chose the Mission Impossible series to go back to ancient or prehistoric times. I picked prehistoric times. I think that there is nothing more compelling than the idea of Tom Cruise jumping off a Stegosaurus, jumping off of a T-Rex. And I think it would be very easy to do in a Mission Impossible movie. Those movies are already impossible missions, so if we're setting them back in time, it would be very easy for all of those characters to go back in time. What are they trying to get? It never matters. What you're there for is the action. What you're there for is to see, Tom Cruise swinging off a saber-toothed tooth. And it wouldn't be historically accurate, too, so I can say things like that. Are there cavemen? Maybe. None of this would matter. Is he going to use a caveman face as a mask so he can hide through the caveman and get to where he needs to go? He definitely will. You get all of those really fun Mission Impossible elements, and you put them in the ancient world. You give them dinosaurs. You give us Mission Impossible.
All right, Mission Impossible, going back to prehistoric times. Eric.
So I had to go with the amazing franchise called The Fast and the Furious. Also going to prehistoric times. You say Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt jumping off T-Rex is cool, and I agree. But what's even cooler? Vin Diesel in a Dodge Charger launching off a T-Rex in that car and probably making like a 3,000 mile jump that he shouldn't be able to make. I just think that, I've for years I've been campaigning for a Fast and the Furious Jurassic Park crossover. Universal, you should still do it. But if they're not going to do it, and I don't think they are, this is the next best thing. We've seen Dom and his family take on a lot of challenges, but taking on prehistoric times and dinosaurs, I think it gives you everything you'd want in entertainment. Chris Pratt riding his motorcycle alongside some dinosaurs, that was fun. But if you take Michelle Rodriguez and Tyrese gunning their cars alongside with some dinosaurs, you've just reached like movie nirvana. I don't see how it gets better than that. It's who's more furious than dinosaurs, by the way? If they're pissed off, it just adds to the title. It's right there. Fast and the Furious meets T-Rex. We got to do it.
All right, shout out Tyrese, Josh.
Hobbs and the Shawsaurus here. Listen, I think we all know that these are two very good ideas, but what we really want is a prehistoric set Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, mostly all the people that they're playing are kind of cavemen. I mean, it kind of already fits in the situation. They're wearing just ramshackle clothes on a boat made of apparently wood that just like shatters, and the boats never sink. They just kind of like hang around.
Dan, were old boats made of wood?
Of wood.
I mean, I'll do some more research, but I am pretty sure that the boats in Pirates of the Caribbean
they were pretty
made of
brown and wood looking.
Yeah,
Almost positive.
pretty woody. But what they fought a Kraken, I guess, in that one, and then the Keith Jones in the other, and so or Keith Richards. I'm not really sure, but what I do know is it Keith Richards?
It's Davy Jones.
Davy Jones.
Yeah,
Davy Jones
one of the movies.
Walker.
They didn't fight him.
As an homage because Johnny Depp was inspired. Anyway.
Right. Okay. Anyway, anywho, what I will say is nothing quite says Pirates of the Caribbean, let's take it to the next level, like them out in the middle of the ocean and dinosaurs just come out of nowhere and start attacking the ships. Can you imagine Johnny Depp's reaction when a dinosaur pops out of the ocean? I don't know. It's a terrible Johnny Depp. What I'm saying is that what we've got here are pirates versus dinosaurs. Pirates are always entertaining. Add the dinosaurs to it, there's nothing that will equal the amount of money that Disney will spend to put these lifelike dinosaurs in the beautiful Caribbean fighting men on boats.
I mean, it is a beautiful part of the world. There's no one can deny that. Let's fight it out, guys.
Here's the thing. Fast and Furious already offers so much, and yes, obviously for this project, we're getting everyone. Vin and Dwayne, they're going to work their issues out, and you will see The Rock punch out multiple velociraptors.
Whoa.
You will see Helen Mirren riding a Triceratops. It's going to have everything. Think about all the opportunities.
My major question for you is, so you're setting this back in the time of the dinosaurs. You are driving cars. How you gonna power them cars? Ain't no oil yet.
Family powers the cars.
It's true.
It's right there.
It's true.
Because they're gonna say to Dom, "How do we power these?" He's like, "We got something that no one else got." And he's like, "The power of family."
Well,
they're gonna
I
link hands.
hope that
and it's just
someone
the cars
comes,
are gonna all power up.
I hope someone comes up with that technology soon because we could definitely use it here. And Josh, if they're pirates and they're back in the Jurassic times, what are they stealing?
Who
are they pirating?
Okay, here's what happened. It's basically like they're going down Meg style. So the boat made of wood wrecks into a large gold mine that is protected by dinosaurs. Okay, and these dinosaurs, like Smaug, are very obsessed with the gold. Okay, hey, listen, I'm giving you dinosaurs. Okay,
I hate to be pedantic.
Pterodactyl coming in. And then they attack the boat, and you're like, where did this pterodactyl come from? Boom, cannon, boom, and then a cannonball blows up everything, and it can blow up dinosaurs. This I guarantee you. They don't need oil as your argument for Fast and the Furious. They definitely don't need. What's yours one again?
I'm not telling you. You have to remember. But while
Mission Impossible? First of all, if you give me prehistoric Mission Impossible, it is I don't want Tom Cruise and is not like give it like he's dirty and he's like fighting in the moss pits against dinosaurs.
No, this is exactly what you want because all of these Mission Impossible movies.
How are you going to spy on a dinosaur?
All of these Mission Impossible
movies. Why are you
movies.
spying on a dinosaur?
All of these Mission Impossible movies are about finding something that is out of this world. This Mission Impossible movie is about to be about time travel. You are now making yours set in the Jurassic period. If we want to be pedantic about what the question is, it's about putting it in an ancient period or Jurassic period.
Off the end of the world into a time warp.
World
guys, wait, are you on Flat Earther on me?
I'm Flat Earther.
Flat Earther. Do not flat Earth us.
That takes him out completely. Okay. Mine has a brontosaurus with nos strapped to his sides. Okay, because they're going to share technology. They're going to share. They're going to become kindred spirits with these dinosaurs. Obviously, the good ones. There's going to be some bad ones.
So what is the conflict?
No, there's going to be some bad ones. There's going to be like some evil like Owen Shaw dinosaur because Owen's still a bad guy and he's going to ride the bad dinosaur.
So are you saying
so we're going to see the two Shaw brothers have to fight it out. It's going to be very symbolic because the dinosaurs are also brothers, and so it's like brother, and then everyone's going to have giant leaps. It's going to be like cliff to cliff, and Dom and the dinosaurs are going to nod each other with respect. It's
so
like,
when they run out of fuel, as to piggyback off of Danielle's thing, you're going to have dinosaurs pulling the cars at like amazing speed.
You're going to have it all because you're going to have some parts where the dinos are pulling the cars, but you're going to also have the part where the dinosaurs are on top of two cars, 1 foot on each car, right? And they're just gunning it. And Dom and Letty look at each other like, we're doing this. And that's what they do, like the biggest leap of all over a fire pit at the end. And Helen Mirren is cheering them on.
I think what you're missing out here is the point when a bunch of pirates swashbuckle sword fight against actual dinosaurs. Listen, you can swashbuckle some whipping stegosaurus, you can swashbuckle against a pterodactyl, all whilst protecting the gold mountain.
Pirates are drunk and they have scurry and there are no lemons to help them out in the prehistoric times.
What?
If you
There's
have all of the technology that will come along with Mission Impossible, because this is not just a movie where obviously you can see people
he's going to put a face on a dinosaur?
No, I told you this is going to be one of those ones because people do not understand how time works.
Nobody understands Mission Impossible. They're too confusing.
Yeah, that's why it works for me. They are very confusing. No one understands what's happening. And you know why? Because you don't care. It's much like Fast and the Furious. No one cares what it's actually about. What you want to see, is Tom Cruise climbing on top.
Roll this in your final
You want
thoughts,
to see Tom Cruise climbing on top of a stegosaurus. You want to see people trying to find the elements that they need of this time machine so that they could take it back to our time. You want to see the spy versus spy stuff in a period where it's not just man against man, it's man against nature. They're also having to worry about fighting against these dinosaurs, and yes, occasionally using the dinosaurs. And while, the craziness of the plot of Fast and the Furious is part of the reason why people do love those movies, and I agree, with this one, you get the craziness, but it's also something that makes a little more sense than just the dinosaurs are brothers, because how would you know that?
All right.
Because Ludacris's character is very smart, and he can figure that out. It's
true.
And then you've got, Charlize Theron, Cypher. She'd be riding in on a pterodactyl. There's just so many things it offers you. And the thing about Fast and the Furious, of course, is it doesn't obey any rules of reality. Not that these other franchises don't go out of their way to out of reality too, but the fact that they don't even obey the laws of physics in Fast and the Furious. So you're just taking this concept to its full potential. You were taking dinosaurs, which everyone loves dinosaurs, right? But what is the most insane thing to bounce off of them? And it is the pure, bleeding, burning heart of Dom, Letty, and the whole gang going as fast and furious as they possibly can in their ultimate adventure.
What have we found that we love most in this country? That is the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. Okay?
Can't debate
I feel like some music should be playing behind it.
Take me there.
Now, what is the other thing that we love? 1993's Jurassic Park. Put those together in a ride, and you have my movie. What did I described the beautiful waters of the Caribbean. You add dinosaurs to that. Your two movies all your franchises depend on technology. Maybe not the first couple Fast and Furiouses when they started drifting in Tokyo. Then they start getting into like world espionage, and everybody's got different things. Yours is one giant computer problem that I don't understand. It was faces and GPS devices. What do the pirates need? They just need wood, right, Dan? They need wood to make a ship, and they need their swashbuckling ways to take on the dinosaurs. And when you boil it all down to it, what happens in prehistoric times? It's man versus beast. Boat versus brontosaurus. Bing, bang, boom. Pirates of the Caribbean, dinosaurs.
What a round, man! That was just fun. Like you guys were just like trying to top each other, and it was. Just being this close to that heat, man. Dan, what's going on in the fact zone?
Josh was roundly scolded for purportedly advancing a flat Earth theory. I would remind the court that the Pirates of the Caribbean have been at World's End before and could return thusly. It's canonically true. So I'm sticking up for you.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you. It's the first time. There's a first time for everything, Dan.
There is, and the last.
Burn.
Lemon. I was trying to look up the veracity of the fact. Would lemons have been around to help cure scurvy in prehistoric times? The earliest fossil records date lemons back about 8 million years. Dinosaurs existed 65 million years ago. So it is very likely that lemons perhaps would not have been there
accidental biology
for scurvy prevention purposes. So that's what I spend my time doing on this show. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of ridiculousness in that round, but factually, that's what I have.
Thank you, Dan.
I like that Dan only checks the facts on my arguments, like my things.
I don't
that was Lemon. That was you.
Family powering a car is a known fact,
That's
right?
a fact, yeah.
Josh,
Science backs it up.
I don't make mistakes. I just correct.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So just the very notion of any potential movie that's going to go back to prehistoric times and F with dinosaurs, it's already cuckoo coconuts. And so I figured they'd have workarounds. So Danielle had some great takedowns of how are they going to power the car? Josh is like, it's only wood. But I'm like, you know what? The screenwriters will get there. When they get there, they'll open up a wormhole and not explain how it happened. So it came down to the most bombast to me. And at the very end, it's just Helen Mirren riding a dinosaur, the Nas strapped to the side of a flipping dinosaur. Just the most bombast came from right here. So I gotta go, Eric. Eric, you're I don't know. You're speaking to me today. That's one for Eric. Dan.
I have Tom Cruise on the brain, but not for the reason that Danielle would want, because to paraphrase a line from a Tom Cruise movie, Eric, you had me at Helen Mirren riding a Triceratops. and also just part of the game is reacting to the curveballs that everyone throws at you, and I thought that Eric by far is just like, oh, how are they going to power the cars? Family.
Yeah.
The movie, I think Eric put more into the thought process than the movie itself would have done if such a movie were to exist.
Yes.
And it was embracing the ridiculousness of it, plus the actual answers to the volleys put against him. I go with Eric as well.
All right, Eric, you get that point, taking a 2-1 lead. Billy, what'd the internet think about the proceedings?
Well, Hal, much like fans that boo John Cena but still buy his merchandise, you wouldn't know it from the chat, but overwhelmingly with 50%, Pirates of the Caribbean. They voted for Josh.
Put me in the speed round, damn it.
26% Fast and Furious, 22% Mission Impossible, because why do you spy on dinosaurs? What is there to learn?
Yeah, no, Fast and the Furious was my first answer. It's the only one that makes sense.
Yeah. You know what, Josh? You are America's sweetheart and
thanks,
the next host of Jeopardy.
Thank you, sir.
But you will not be moving on to the speed round.
Well, you know what, Hal? It's always a pleasure here being with you guys at Screen Junkies. This continues my trend of not winning any points. But it's always a pleasure just to be here with you fine folks.
Your mayhem really tickled me. So thank you for being here, man.
You're welcome.
All right, so it is Eric with 2, it is Danielle with 1, and they're about to throw down in the speed round.
Oh my.
Y'all ready for this?
Maybe.
Okay, thank you. All right, question 1 of the speed round. Oh, and it works thusly. I'll ask the question, shout out your answer. First person to answer gets 20 seconds to elaborate. The other player will get 20 seconds, and then 10-second rebuttals in the same order.
Okay.
Here we go. Will Smith rapped a little bit of Friend Like Me on The Tonight Show this week. What rapper should play an iconic Disney character in a remake? We need the rapper and the Disney character. What rapper should play a Disney character? Give us the rapper and the Disney.
Jay-Z, Prince Charming.
We have Jay-Z and Prince Charming.
I'm going to go with LL Cool J and Lightning McQueen.
LL and Lightning McQueen from Cars. All right. Danielle, we heard you first. 20 seconds begin when you speak.
Jay-Z has already won the biggest princess of our time. That is Beyonce. So we know that he has the power to be able to charm any woman that might be out there. I love the idea of him trying to find his bride, the right person for him. He's at a dance. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm Jay-Z. Bad Jay-Z impersonation. They meet. They fall in love. They look at each other. Jay-Z, he's a billionaire.
I will also go with charm as a key word here. LL Cool J has plenty of it. So does Lightning McQueen, but he can also mix bravado with sort of that aw shucks nature. And I think that's Lightning McQueen to a T. So you can be the big city guy in the small town who starts to fit in and find his groove there. I think LL Cool J would have the perfect attitude to put that through and to drive very, very fast at the same time.
LL Cool J's entire career has been based on bombast. It has been based on him being better than everyone else. It has been based on kissing his mouth. Whereas with Jay-Z, we've seen in later years, he has been humbled by Lemonade. He has been humbled
LL Cool J will knock you out, so he's a fighter, he's ready to race, but then at the same time, he's going back to Cali, he's on the road, he's showing how he's traveling, and there you have it right there. Lightning McQueen meets LL Cool J. They both start with L, by the way, so it's meant to be.
All right, good stuff, you guys. William Business, Patterson.
As much as I don't want to go against Queen Bee, I felt like I got more about the personal history of Jay-Z than I did how he would tie in necessarily as a Disney character, whereas Eric, both his rebuttals were purely about how he would make a good Lightning McQueen specifically, so I'm going to go with Eric.
I actually saw it the other way. I feel like the qualities of Jay-Z that we heard spoke to me as why he'd be the better Prince Charming, as opposed to, we just heard the song. Like, the songs don't necessarily make the guy, if that makes sense. And I felt,
do they?
Or do they? But in this instance, for me, no. So I'm going Danielle with Jay-Z. Dan.
Yes. I think that a little bit too much of Eric's argument was tied up in just saying things about LL Cool J, whereas I like Danielle's...
I can talk all day about LL Cool J.
Obvious, yes. I like Danielle's approach of he's already charmed the princess of our time, the queen. Really.
That was a good line.
So I'm also going with Danielle.
Danielle, you just tied this thing up 2-2. Great arguments on that speed
There you
round
go, guys.
question,
Really
you
good
guys.
stuff.
Question 2 of the speed round. Anna Lily Amirpour is making a female-driven remake of Cliffhanger. What actress should take on the Stallone role?
Charlize Theron.
Why am I blanking on all actresses' names right now? It's like I've never heard of an actress in my entire life.
What is actress?
His actress, Zoe Saldana.
Oh, okay. Good choices here. Eric, we heard you first.
So Charlize Theron obviously has shown her action credentials. She shows that she can be very tough, credibly tough in a film like Cliffhanger. I think we would, completely buy her in that role. Also, of course, she is an Academy Award-winning actress. So when it comes to the drama, the pathos, the oh my God, I let someone go and they fell to their death, and I have to get over this. I think she'd bring it, and she'd bring it in a real way, so you can believe her fighting the bad guy.
No one knows what it's like to have been on the other side of that cliff, being led to their death. Then Zoe Saldana. She has been an amazing action star in 3 of the biggest franchises in the world. She knows how to handle action. She knows how to handle the pathos. She has been basically an action star for her entire career, as well as being able to show vulnerability in those roles.
In a role like this, you have to just bring the attitude that I'm making a leap of faith and I'm going to do it and no one is going to doubt you. And I think Charlize has that to a T. You just believe in her completely in a role like this. That's why she's sort of the epitome of a great action hero.
There is no doubt with the Zoe Saldana because we have gotten to see her in so many of these roles. Additionally, there is so much dealing with the pain of that. And yes, Charlize has an Oscar, but this could be a moment for Zoe Saldana to really show her acting chops.
Dan, what do you got?
2 good arguments. I think it was ability versus experience, really, and I think that so much of Danielle's argument was about her past roles, but I was a little more drawn to Eric's roles about why Charlize herself would, what she would contribute as an actor to the role. So I'm going with Eric.
Yeah, for similar reasons, I felt I thought Eric spelled out the gravitas that Charlize would bring, whereas Zoe certainly has the resume, but for similar reasons, I'm going with Eric as well. Eric, you get the point there, moving to a 3-2 lead.
Oh, yeah, Eric.
Question 3 of the speed round. So we got an It Chapter 2 trailer today.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, which clown would you prefer to have as a roommate? Who'd make the better roommate? Pennywise or Jared Leto's Joker?
Jared Leto's Joker.
Pennywise.
Okay, so we have Leto's Joker from Danielle, Pennywise for Eric. Danielle.
Jared Leto's Joker knows how to bring out the fun in everyone that he's around. He loves to play practical jokes. And if ever there was a time when you wanted to get your neighbors off your back, you wanted to get your landlord off of your back, he could just send them something really creepy. Or he could just, if you're behind in rent, he'll just blow up the whole apartment building and you can move on and start a new life somewhere else. He knows...
as opposed to feeling like you're living with a total douchebag with stupid tattoos, Pennywise brings creativity and fun, and you never know what's going to happen, and he can make things visually interesting all the time. He can change his form. He can keep you excited and entertained. He can change into your friends, your family, whoever you want to see. He can be it. He can be the best friend you've ever want, or the worst enemy if that's what you want to yell at that day. Pennywise, just keeps it coming, keeps it different.
Living with douchebags with too many tattoos is how most of us spent our 20s, unfortunately, so that wouldn't be very different for anyone else. However, with Pennywise, you'd constantly be coming home and being like, why does my house smell like children? And then all of a sudden there would be a child in your icebox, or there would be...
Pennywise, he keeps things changing up, and he's lived for centuries and centuries. He can tell you great stories all the time. He can tell you about the past in a really learned way, and you can learn a lot, and you can have fun while you're doing it.
All right. Billy.
That's pretty good.
Well, oh boy.
There are no right answers.
Yeah, there's
really.
no right answer here. I think, look, just because there is no right answer and Eric was dealt a terrible card and he did his damnedest, like, he could tell you lots of ancient stories, or want to phone a friend, he can kind of be that. Like, I guess that's better than the tattooed douchebag I did live with in my 20s. I don't want that again, so I'll go Pennywise.
That's one for Pennywise. Dan?
Yeah, I feel like the blowing up the apartment thing would only work once or twice before it became a real stain on your rental history. And the idea of a roommate who can entertain you, tell you good stories, isn't that what you really want? The roommate who is what you need them to be that day. So I think that was a good line. I'm also going to go with Eric.
Eric Goldman, you just won movie fight.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Congrats. Well played. Eric, your first 4 movie fights, you took the day. Nicely done. Please go ahead, give some shout outs, sing a song, do whatever you feel.
Okay, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheEricGoldman. You can find my writing at fandom.com. And you should go to the We Enjoy Wrestling podcast if you want to hear people talk about wrestling and enjoying it.
All right. Oh, dueling wrestling podcast. You know what? Plenty of
They're
room.
both good wrestling podcasts.
They're both good wrestling podcasts.
Hell
People
yeah.
who like wrestling.
Listen, subscribe, download all of these podcasts. Josh McCougs.
Penn State just won their 7th of 8th national championships in wrestling.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
That doesn't
did you go
count.
to Penn
That's not
State?
real.
I did go to
So
Penn
did
State.
I. We talked about this. Yeah.
We like our wrestling scripted.
We're talking about
scripted.
professional wrestling.
Oh,
not
got it.
amateur
Not
college wrestling.
Greco-Roman.
Settle down, Kurt Angle.
From Pittsburgh.
That's right.
At Josh McCouga, Twitter and Instagram. You guys can check me out on Collider every single day and Collider Live. You can check out the Josh McCouga Show in the afternoons with Josh and Ken.
Josh, thank you for just going off on amazing tangents
I appreciate
today.
that.
I love it.
Anything for you, Hal. Anything.
Daniel Radford, always well played, super delightful. You know what? You didn't pitch the shutout today, but you took it to the limits.
Oh, you pitch a shutout once.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's great for your career. But if you want to find me, you can find me here. I am on ScreenJunkies. I'm on SJU, on Fandom. I write things. I write a bunch of stuff. In fact, I'm going to go back and go do some more writing now. You can find me at Danielle Radford on Twitter, Danielle_Radford on Instagram.
Thank you, Danielle. Dan Murrell, how's the weekend shaping up box office wise?
Looking like an Avengers 3-peat, but Detective Pikachu also looking like it might score a nice debut. But you never know with these things, Hal. So,
Right on.
Lots of Avengers, lots of franchises. It's the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's lots of repeat viewings fueling that
Many
thing, right?
repeat viewings.
Yeah.
Mine was one of them last weekend.
Yes.
So, yeah, a lot of people going to see the Avengers a lot of times.
Right on. Billy Biz?
Yep, a lot of cool stuff coming up here on Screen Junkies and Fandom. Next week... Next week, it's the finale of Game of Thrones. We are going to be going with our Watching Thrones shows live Sunday night after the finale. So we're going to be doing some just reactions to that. And then also next week, super excited, we're finally going to be able to reveal why myself, Roth, it's Spencer, Max, what we've been working on and why we've been MIA from SJU for a while. We can finally unveil it. So cool things coming to SJU next week. Stay tuned.
Can I might spoil that announcement because I believe it's the casting of John Lithgow in the Cliffhanger remake because they wanted Charlize Theron, but Charlize Theron's actually going to play the John Lithgow part.
Way to bury the lead, Josh.
Wow. Thank you for taking us there.
Spoiling it.
Yeah, you really stole our thunder. But listen to Billy. Tune in next week for that. And I'm Hal Rudnick. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Hal Rudnick. Hoot, hoot, Owl Nation. Thanks for watching. Thanks, JT. Thanks, Billy Biz, for doing double duty. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.